How to reduce overhead in JavaScript pure functions. Imagine writing code that always gives the same answer, no matter how many times you run it. That's the magic of pure functions. They make your code predictable and easier to test. But sometimes they can slow things down if not used carefully. So how do you keep them quick and efficient? Let's find out. First, think about copying data. Pure functions often create new objects or arrays instead of changing existing ones. But copying large data structures can take time and memory. To cut down on this, use shallow copies when possible. Shallow copying means copying only the top level of an object or array, which is faster. For example, use the spread operator or object assign to make quick copies. Avoid deep copies unless absolutely necessary, because they take longer and use more memory. Also, consider using libraries that are built for immutable data. These libraries can help you update data without copying everything from scratch each time. Next, look at how you chain functions together. When you combine many pure functions in a pipeline, each step might create new data. This adds overhead. To fix this, try to combine multiple operations into one function. Instead of passing data through many small functions, write a single function that does everything at once. Another trick is to use lazy evaluation. Instead of processing all data immediately, process it in small chunks or as needed. Generators in JavaScript can help here, allowing you to handle data piece by piece instead of all at once. Caching results is another smart move. Since pure functions always give the same output for the same input, you can store those results. This is called memization. When the function is called again with the same data, just reuse the stored answer. This saves time, especially if the calculation is complex. But be careful with memory. If you cache too many results, it can use up a lot of memory. So, cache only what makes sense for your application. Also, avoid calling pure functions repeatedly with the same inputs. If you already have a result, reuse it instead of recalculating. For example, in user interfaces, avoid rerunning functions unnecessarily. Control when functions run to prevent wasting CPU cycles. Modern JavaScript engines are good at optimizing simple, side effect-free functions. Write your pure functions clean and straightforward. Use arrow functions or inline functions when appropriate. These small, predictable functions help the engine optimize your code better. Finally, pass only the data you need. If your function only uses a part of a large object, don't pass the whole thing. Extract just the necessary pieces before calling the function. This reduces copying and processing time. Balancing purity with performance is key. By minimizing unnecessary copying, combining functions smartly, caching results, and passing only what's needed, you can keep your code both clean and fast. Remember, the goal is to write functions that are easy to understand and reliable, but also efficient enough for real-world use. Applying these tips helps you stay on top of your game in modern JavaScript development.